What's up, everyone? So pitchers and catchers are literally reporting to spring training tomorrow, which means the off-season, yeah, it's done. And look, I've been digging through everything the Toronto Blue Jays have done since that absolutely brutal Game 7 World Series loss to the Dodgers back in November, and there's a lot to talk about here. Before we get into it, though, I need you to understand something. This rotation might be completely slept on right now, like nobody's talking about it enough. And that's wild considering what they've put together. But we'll get there. First, let me tell you about the elephant in the room, the massive signing that changed everything for this franchise. December 2nd. That's when the Blue Jays made history. 7 years, $210 million to Dylan Cease. This is the biggest free agent contract in Blue Jays history, ever. And here's the thing. This isn't just throwing money at a name. This is strategic. This is the front office saying we know exactly what we're doing with this guy. Think about Kevin Gausman for a second. Remember when they brought him in and everyone knew the upside was there? The strikeout stuff was electric, but it needed refinement. That's exactly what's happening with Cease. The talent has always been there. This guy has led pitchers in strikeouts before. He's finished top 5 in Cy Young voting twice, in 2022 and 2024. The ability, it's not a question. The consistency, that's what needs work. And this is where it gets interesting. Cease himself said something that stuck with me. He literally said, "I know I'm good. I need a team that can make me consistent." Think about that for a second. This dude is putting his trust in Pete Walker and the Blue Jays pitching development staff. That's not just confidence. That's him recognizing his own ceiling and betting on Toronto to help him reach it. Now, yeah, last year with the Padres wasn't great. 4.55 ERA, but he still punched out 215 batters in 168 innings. The strikeout stuff is elite, always has been. If the Blue Jays can tighten up his command, minimize the walks, keep him attacking the zone, you're looking at a legitimate ace. $30 million a year for 7 years. If he's getting Cy Young votes on the back end and eating up innings at an ace level, that's actually a steal in today's market. But Cease isn't the only addition. They also brought in Cody Ponce, this 31-year-old righty who absolutely dominated in Korea last year with a 1.89 ERA. Now granted, he hasn't pitched in the majors since 2021 with Pittsburgh, so there's risk there, but the upside, it's real. And then you've got Trey Yesavage, who was an absolute monster in last year's playoffs. This kid is the real deal. So let's talk about what this rotation actually looks like now compared to last year, because the difference is night and day. Last season, sure, Max Scherzer had some cool playoff moments, but let's be real about his regular season. The guy pitched half the year with an ERA over 5, and Bowden Francis, over half a season with an ERA above 6. Just combine those two performances and you basically had one terrible starting pitcher for the entire season. That's gone now. Both Scherzer and Chris Bassett walked in free agency and they're still unsigned as we head into camp. The expected rotation right now: Gausman, Cease, Yesavage, Shane Bieber, and Ponce, with Eric Lauer and Francis as depth. This could legitimately be one of the best rotations in baseball. Not just the AL East, all of baseball. Boston made moves, sure. The Yankees will get Jarrett Cole and some guys back eventually, but Toronto's rotation has legitimate potential to be the best in the division. They ranked 19th in runs allowed last year at 4.45 per game. That number is about to drop significantly. But here's where things get complicated, and this is the storyline I'm watching most closely in spring training: Jose Berrios. This is uncomfortable for everyone involved. This is a guy who's been their opening day starter multiple times, a guy who never misses starts, works harder than anyone, was the Roberto Clemente Award nominee, total professional. But the way last year ended? Not great. He got moved to the bullpen late in the season, was clearly unhappy about it, and then went on the injured list for the first time in 10 years. And now he's in this weird limbo situation where the team has arguably better options, but his contract makes everything messy. 7 years, $131 million with a player opt-out after this season. The deal runs through 2028 if he doesn't opt out. And here's the problem. You can't just trade this guy. It's not a video game where you dump salary and move on. There are still tons of free agent starters available, including Scherzer and Bassett, who Blue Jays fans obviously know. No team is taking on Berrios' contract right now when they can just sign someone for cheaper. If Toronto wants to move him, they'd have to eat a massive chunk of money and probably include prospects. That's not happening. The realistic answer, something takes care of itself naturally. Someone gets hurt, someone struggles in spring, a spot opens up organically. But right now, it's awkward. This is a professional who's earned respect over his career sitting in an uncertain position, and there's no clean solution. And we can't forget about Ricky Tiedemann. Remember this name? Former top prospect who was absolutely dealing in 2023, struck out 82 batters in 44 innings across 4 levels. Then elbow surgery happened, and he's pitched 17 1/3 innings total over the past 2 years. If he's healthy and throwing like we know he can, he could force his way into this conversation too. So you've got Cease as the big addition, a rotation that looks completely different from last year's mess, the Berrios situation hanging over everything, and depth pieces that could either solidify this staff or create more difficult decisions. Spring training is going to answer a lot of questions, but one thing is clear: Toronto's pitching staff has been massively upgraded, and if things break right, this could be special. We'll see how it plays out starting tomorrow.